Major outlets like ESPN, Golf.com, and others were all running the same core narrative. Charlie Woods didn't just show up, he delivered. Within 24 hours, social media exploded, PGA pros weighed in, and commentators rushed to capture the moment. Clips of Charlie's swing flooded the internet. Elias slowed down and inevitably compared to Tiger's, but this time, there was something different in the air. Respect. Yes, he carries the Woods name. And yes, expectations follow his every shot, but this performance wasn't about legacy or genetics, it was about execution, precision, and unshakable poise under pressure. He didn't just make birdies, he held off some of the most competitive junior golfers out there. That alone changed the narrative. Charlie wasn't background noise anymore, he was the headline. The golf world didn't just notice, they had no choice. When a teenager with the last name Woods steps out of the shadow and beats a stacked field with nerves of steel and elite shot-making, people stop scrolling and start watching. From that moment on, Charlie Woods wasn't just Tiger's son, he was the story. And after his AJA victory, the reaction from the pro golf world came fast and loud. This wasn't reserved praise or polite acknowledgement. It was real. Tour veterans and major champions were giving genuine credit to a kid who until recently was just another promising name. Charlie Woods, once mostly known for walking fairways alongside his father, is now being talked about in a completely different light. Justin Thomas, who has shared many rounds with the Woods family, didn't hold back in his praise. He's got great tempo and he's mentally tough. He told reporters, he doesn't just play the game, he understands it. Coming from someone who's competed at the highest level and witnessed true competitive fire, that kind of endorsement carries real weight. Thomas isn't known for giving compliments, just for the cameras. Even Rory McIlroy, often measured and cautious with his words, was direct. He's not just a name, he knows how to compete, he said on the Golf Channel. You could feel the tone shift from curiosity to genuine respect. It wasn't about the novelty of Tiger's son being in tournaments anymore. It was about Charlie emerging as a legitimate contender. That shift matters. It's what turns headlines into long-term expectations. Jordan Spieth, reflecting on his own rise, put it simply during the PNC Championship, he reminds me of myself as a teenager. The confidence, the focus, it's not forced, it's natural. And coming from a player who stormed the PGA Tour before he was old enough to rent a car, that comparison isn't casual, it's powerful. These weren't media soundbites thrown out for hype. They were raw, honest reactions from players who truly recognize what greatness looks like and, more importantly, what it feels like to be near it. In a world where hype can be manufactured overnight, the praise from pros like Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, and Jordan Spieth carries real weight. When they speak like that, you realize Charlie Woods isn't just being watched, he's being measured. A 6 under 66 sounds impressive on paper, but it was how Charlie got there that made the golf world stop and pay attention. This wasn't a lucky streak or some front nine fluke, it was calculated, patient, and at times ice cold. It looked like the kind of round you'd expect from a seasoned tour veteran grinding on a Sunday, not a teenager carrying the pressure of the Woods legacy. He wasn't pulling off miracle recoveries or relying on lucky bounces, he was executing, smart, disciplined, golf shot after shot, like he'd done it 1,000 times before. The final 9 holes were the real story. That's when the pressure usually breaks kids his age. The leaderboard tightens, the cameras follow every move, and every tee shot becomes a mental test. But Charlie didn't flinch. 3 birdies on the back 9, including a laser on 16 that left him with a tap-in, weren't just clutch, they were ruthless. No panic, no overreaction, just total commitment and a calm that felt eerily familiar. For those watching closely, it didn't look like he was chasing the win, it looked like he already knew it was his. Max Homa noticed. He jumped on Twitter the same day, praising Charlie's tempo, poise, and balance in his swing, even pointing out the maturity in his club selection. High praise coming from a player known for his sharp game and sharper eye. Charlie Woods' performance wasn't just impressive, it was striking in its smoothness and self-awareness. The praise he received wasn't hollow hype. It was a quiet nod from seasoned pros who recognized one of their own. What truly caught people off guard wasn't just the low score, it was how effortlessly he made it look. There was no overexertion, no wide-eyed energy, no lucky putts from across the green, just confident, repeatable golf. It was the kind of round where, for a moment, you forget you're watching a teenager, until the scorecard reminds you. This wasn't just potential on display, it was Polish. For years, Charlie walked in the massive shadow of golf's biggest icon. From his first public tee shot, the cameras zoomed in, the comparisons poured in, and every moment was framed around one storyline: Tiger's son. Every swing, fist pump, and glance was analyzed through the lens of legacy. But now, something is shifting. The conversation is no longer just about who his father is, it's about who Charlie Woods is becoming and how quickly he's getting there. While fans and media often rush to label him a mini Tiger, those who watch closely know better. Charlie doesn't play like Tiger, and he doesn't try to. His swing isn't a replica, his demeanor is cooler, more measured, and his course management already reflects a level of maturity that feels earned, not inherited. Coaches and commentators have noted the nuance in his decisions, the way he shapes shots based on conditions. Not ego. He's not chasing his father's shadow. He's quietly crafting his own path. Charlie Woods isn't out there trying to be a social media star. He's out there trying to win golf tournaments his way. Golf.com analysts have started saying what many have been quietly thinking. Charlie is carving out his own identity, one that stands tall on its own. Sure, the Woods DNA is still there, the killer instinct, the competitive fire, but it's now wrapped in something more deliberate, more composed. He's got the flash when he needs it, but he's not swinging for highlights, he's swinging for hardware, and the pros are noticing. They're no longer just seeing the son of a 15-time major champion, they're seeing a serious threat, a kid who skipped the awkward transition most juniors go through and stepped into the spotlight. With a game that demands respect, Charlie will always carry the Woods name, but the conversation has clearly shifted. It's not about Tiger anymore, it's about the kid beside him, writing his own story and making it impossible to look away. There's a different energy now. When Charlie tees it up, it's no longer just about curiosity, it's about expectation. It feels like we're not watching a future star develop slowly, we're watching someone about to break through right now. What once looked like a long-term project is quickly becoming a short-term problem for the rest of the field. And you can feel like in locker rooms, on the range, and in interviews there's a quiet tension whenever Charlie's name comes up. Because this isn't just great junior golf anymore. This is meaningful golf, the kind that makes the entire sport sit up and take notice. Sponsors, selectors, and even fellow players are starting to talk whispers about potential exemptions, rumors of junior team selections, and corporate eyes already envisioning Charlie Woods in commercials, branded gear, and prime endorsement deals. And the reason for all of it? Simple. He looks ready. Maybe not for Augusta just yet, but ready to matter. What makes this moment feel different isn't just the buzz, it's how the professionals are reacting to it. They're not rolling their eyes or dismissing it as media hype. They're watching closely, because deep down they remember being that kid, the one who hadn't yet learned limits. The one who didn't care who was in the field, only who stood in the way. And they also remember how everything changed when that kind of kid started showing up in their pairings. This isn't just admiration anymore, it's awareness. Maybe even pressure. Because if Charlie keeps this up, keeps playing with this level of poise and fire, he won't be the face of the next generation, he'll start pushing the current one. And that shift became impossible to ignore at Streamsong Resort, where it wasn't supposed to end like this, not for Miles Russell, the AJA's top-ranked junior, an overwhelming favorite, and certainly not for the kid ranked 6,004th. But on a warm Florida afternoon, everything flipped. Charlie Woods, yes, the Charlie Woods delivered a round that froze the fairway and sent shockwaves across the sport. A final round 66, 8 birdies, 15 under total, not only enough to win the AJA Team TaylorMade Invitational, but to make a statement loud, clear, and undeniable. From the first tee, there was something different. Not nerves, not flash presence. The same quiet confidence golf fans once saw in his father, now reborn in the next generation. Charlie didn't chase the lead, he hunted it. 4 birdies in his first 5 holes, every swing deliberate, every putt pure. And as the names above him cracked under pressure, Charlie Roseanne took it all. Under pressure, Charlie Woods didn't just hold his ground, he surged. Composed and clinical. He climbed to the top of the leaderboard as Miles Russell, the nation's top-ranked junior, watched it unfold in real time. This wasn't luck, and it wasn't a fluke. It was surgical, relentless, and above all, undeniable. When Charlie walked off the 18th green, the scoreboard didn't just reflect a win, it reflected dominance. But this moment wasn't just about beating one player. It was about breaking through the towering wall of expectations that has followed Charlie since he first picked up a golf club, and now the question is no longer if it's what's next. Because if this is what Charlie Woods can do at 16, carrying that iconic last name, under this kind of spotlight, then we might be witnessing the start of something historic. The golf world isn't just watching anymore, it's bracing for what's to come. Cameras have always followed Charlie, long before scorecards meant anything. Every swing was dissected, every glance compared to his father's. He was never just a junior golfer, he was Tiger Woods' son. That legacy, for all its power, cast a long, heavy shadow. The PNC Championship offered a glimpse of their bond, the mirrored swings, the synchronized strides, but Charlie's path has never been about becoming the next Tiger, it's been about becoming Charlie. Until now, his AJGA resume was quiet: 5 starts, 1 top 25 finish, respectable, but unremarkable. And standing in his way at Streamsong was a force, Miles Russell. World no, 1 in junior golf. A player used to leading, not chasing. All signs pointed to another win for Russell, and just another lesson for Woods. But something changed. This wasn't the same Charlie who played quietly under the weight of legacy. This was a new version, sharper, calmer, more precise. It wasn't just his swing that matured, it was his mindset, his decisions, his presence. He didn't look like a kid overwhelmed by the spotlight. He looked like someone who had finally learned how to own it. On a course known for punishing mistakes, Charlie didn't overpower it, he outhorted it. That final round wasn't just a win, it was a transformation. From promise to proof, from hype to headline. And now, Charlie Woods isn't being talked about because of his last name, he's being talked about in spite of it. Because this wasn't Tiger's son winning a tournament. This was Charlie Woods stepping into his own light, beating the best, and proving that he doesn't need a legacy to guide him, he's already building one of his own. It started quietly, just a smooth tee shot and a calm walk down the fairway. But then came the spark. Birdie, then another, and another. Before the field could even react, Charlie Woods had opened the final round with 4 birdies in 5 holes. This wasn't a hot streak, it was a takeover. Reuters called it a front nine assault, but anyone watching knew it was more than just numbers on a scorecard. It was the moment the entire tournament shifted, and it didn't shift toward the favorite. By the time Charlie made the turn, it wasn't about whether he could hang with the top-ranked players, it was whether anyone could catch him. Spoiler, they couldn't. NBC Sports had already called the AJA Team TaylorMade Invitational one of the strongest junior fields of the year, with no one junior Miles Russell and 5th-ranked Luke Clanton in the mix. But rankings don't matter when someone's rewriting the script in real time. Charlie didn't just outlast these elite players, he outclassed them. Golf Digest has already called his ranking leap historic, and how could it not be? This wasn't a lucky break or a backdoor top 10, this was a 15-under total, a final round 66, and a 3-shot win over a stacked field of college-bound stars and future professionals. It wasn't close, and it wasn't expected. That's what made it so unreal. What Charlie did at Streamsong wasn't about momentum or good fortune, it was about taking control early and never letting go. While the rest of the field was searching for rhythm, he was already dancing. That round changed everything, not just the tournament, but how the golf world sees him now. Charlie didn't just show up, he made sure no one could forget he was there. Streamsong Black doesn't care who you are, it punishes mistakes, chews up egos, and demands perfect precision. It's not a course you bully, it's a course you study. And that's exactly what Charlie did. While others tried to overpower it, he dissected it, turning every hole into a calculated move. His strategy wasn't flashy, it was flawless. He didn't chase hero shots. He trusted his game and it delivered. Charlie Woods executed his game plan with a calm that most players twice his age would envy. Tight pin placements, he aimed safe. Trouble off the tee, he clubbed down. Every decision looked like it came from a player who had studied that course for a decade, not a 16-year-old still carving his path. It wasn't just skill on display, it was maturity. And that's what separates this win from a lucky break or a hot streak. According to the New York Post, even Tiger Woods acknowledged that Charlie is forging his own path, and that path is clearly built on more than genetics. It's about how Charlie sees the game, how he feels the game. He doesn't just hit shots, crafts rounds, he builds momentum without forcing it. And when the pressure tightens, he doesn't tense up, he relaxes, resets, and delivers. Meanwhile, players like Miles Russell, the top-ranked junior in the country, felt the pressure the course got in their heads. The leaderboard did too. But Charlie looked like he'd been there before, even though he hadn't. While others pressed, he stayed present. That's what made this performance extraordinary. It wasn't about strength, it was about smarts. Charlie didn't just beat the field at Streamsong, he out-hearted. He walked into one of junior golf's toughest events and played like he owned the keys. And if this is what he's capable of at 16, then junior golf just got a serious wake-up call. Because now that Charlie Woods has lit up a field stacked with the best and walked away not just with a win but with a statement, everyone's asking the same question: what's next? Is this a one-off miracle round or the first chapter of something generational? One thing's clear, this wasn't luck. It was preparation meeting opportunity, and the result was a seismic shift in the junior golf landscape. Charlie is no longer just the kid with the famous last name, he is the name. This win at Streamsong wasn't a fluke, it was measured, controlled, and dominant. And it proved he doesn't just belong, he can lead. College recruiters are watching, sponsors are circling, the rest of the AJA circuit just got a lot more nervous. Could Charlie dominate from here on out? Isolate, could he earn invites to elite amateur events or even make an early push toward pro qualifiers? It's not out of the question. After all, he just beat the #1 junior in the country by 7 strokes.